ultimate Spurs job of all time.
It's in the North London DNA.
It is.
But I believe you. As I said earlier, in order for them to win, they have to dispatch City. If they don't, I'm sorry, Arsenal, but and I'm sorry, United fans as well, because the main reason why we want them to win is so that Alex Ferguson's three-peat can never be broke or achieved or attained again. Of course, it is Pep Guardiola, so who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, Arsenal, it's peculiar for them, right? Because they have the talent. They've beaten teams that we haven't expected them to beat. You know, say for example in the FA Cup, they lost to City that game technically, right?
Yeah.
But they outplayed City every single moment of that match. They didn't take their chances when they got them. I'm wondering if in the clash against City, if it's the same thing, can Arsenal actually take their chances? Do you think that they have a chance? Or do you think that they're suffering with inform Haaland, inform De Bruyne, inform Ake, and inform Ederson?
Listen, Arsenal will technically be a different team at that point because, Jesus rises on Easter and he rose yesterday. And, as long as he can get an opportunity, you've seen how clinical he can be. He only had 2 touches in Liverpool's box. He scored from one of them. Saka, unbelievable player. If Martinelli can just pretend everybody in front of him is Trent Alexander-Arnold, then it's going to be a killing. Leandro Trossard is really good as well. Ødegaard pulling the strings. But can the midfield hold up for 90 minutes? We didn't see that in the game against Liverpool. We saw Partey, Xhaka fall off, and that's what cannot happen. This is why Arsenal are desperately going for a midfielder in the summer. But that can't happen. If their midfield drops off, then they're out of this game even before it started. But I think they have enough talent to take their chances this time. I know Saka didn't start. Martinelli didn't start in the FA Cup either. It was Nketiah, I think it was Marquinhos as well. So as long as the big guys step up, then they shouldn't have any issues. Even against that City team.
Fair enough. That's an interesting point. But let's see what happens when the day comes. Of course, we will be covering that here at GC Sports as we usually do. But moving on from that, and this is not a question for one league. This is a question for Europe's top 5 leagues. I firmly believe that this season, the relegation battles in every single top 5 league is 10 times more interesting than the titles. Jackson.
Yes.
You see in the Prem. You see in the Prem how like 6 teams are just 2 or 3 points in between each other at the bottom, right? In France, all like the top like 9 teams are about 6 points from each other, and the relegation battle is in there. Spain up to 6th place is literally just 7 points in between each other. Like it's so close, right? Jackson, what do you make on this?
Listen, before the season, we wanted an entertaining season of football, and we're getting it. Not at the part that matters, but I can't say at the part that matters because the relegation is fun. I mean, in England, from 20th to 12th are in a relegation fight. If Chelsea don't win their next game, they're in a relegation fight and they're in 11th. The whole thing is gonna come collapsing down. In Spain, Italy, as you said, also France. It's good. It's good for. I mean, now we can see who's actually got composure. Normally, a bigger team would buy from a smaller team because that player is good. Let's see if the smaller teams or the teams in the relegation fight can get out of it unscathed. I mean, I still say that I think for some reason Southampton are not gonna mess up. I still think they have one big result left in them, and then that would be it for them. But, even if they go down, anybody who goes down, it's going to be a killing because you're going to be shopping, man. I mean, if Southampton go down, you got Lavia, Mara, Edozie we can sign from them. If Everton go down, you got Gray, Calvert-Lewin, McNeil. If, who else is there? No one wants a Bournemouth player. If Leicester goes down, you got Maddison, Tielemans on a free, you got Ricardo Pereira. It's all class. That's the problem. You can't believe it. I mean, No one would ever see that Leeds got 5-1 yesterday. Nobody saw that from 1-0 up. This relegation fight has just brought more meaning to football. You know, this is usually you tell somebody to watch a game and they would see a Leeds versus Bournemouth on TV and it's a boring shithousery and then they don't like football. But now you send them to watch it. Everyone's playing for their lives because it's a relegation scrap, and that's what it is.
Yeah, and in saying that, that's the big $1 million question. Which teams do you think are going to be relegated? In the Prem, at least.
I'll stick to the two I'm already accustomed to, Leeds and Bournemouth. But I think the third team to go down, I can't pull myself to say Southampton. As I said, I still think they have one massive result left, and there are winnable games left for them. So Leeds, Bournemouth, and Leicester. That's just how I see it, man. I can't pull myself. I still think Southampton will find a way. They always do.
Oh, okay. I feel you. You heard it here first. But moving on from them and to the Clasico, and Madrid absolutely terrorized Barcelona. The first winning the Clasico this season, beating them 4-0 in the Copa del Rey. Of course, Barcelona without key players, but what do you make of that match?
Listen, I didn't. I left it. What was it? I think it was 25 minutes gone, and there was no score. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home now. And when I went home, I just got messages 4-0. I'm like, what the hell happened? What? And Benzema had 3 goals and an assist. I'm like, Ballon d'Or, Benzema. You know, it was just outstanding. You know, the performance from him and Vini, you can't talk about that enough anymore. Those two are probably the best duo in Europe. None of this Kane Son bullshit. It's probably Vini and Benzema. That you can't find a duo that's as clinical as those guys, and they're carrying Madrid. Don't get that wrong. They've been carrying Madrid for the past 2-3 seasons now. It's just those two guys, and it's incredible what's happening. But you know, Barca got 4, and then all the posts come out about all previous Clásicos and the results, and you know, they're missing this player, that player. You know, it was a good result. You know, Ancelotti just lifted his eyebrow, and they're in another final. So you know, good things. Hala Madrid.
Visca Barça, Visca Catalonia, my friend. But moving on, Anto, we just talked about relegation stories, right? But I think it's fair that we talk about the incredible story of Wrexham City. Wrexham and the Notts County, right? Both teams in the National League, the 5th tier of English football, have 100 plus points, but only one can be guaranteed a place in League 4. Jackson, do you think it's fair, man?
That's bullshit. We know it's bullshit. Come on, I'm not even going to let you stop. No, we know it's bullshit, bro. Like, Wrexham won today because Ben Foster saved a penalty. Great game all around, man. But it's a 30-point lead from second to third. Yet still second is going to have to go into a playoff. Imagine they get knocked out after having 100 points, man. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. But, you know, I don't really... I'm not English, so I'm not going to talk about the FA or anything like that. So, but it's not good, man. I mean, Wrexham are now what, on 104 points, 1 point ahead of Notts County.
103.
Well, they're on 103. They're a point above Notts County or something like that. And the third best team is on about 73 points. It shows the difference, man. And we need both of them to go through, because you know, Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds, and all this fairy tale thing. That's going to be fun, you know. I mean, I was speaking to somebody and they said the way Wrexham play, they're closer to winning the league than Spurs. I was like, it's going to take about 6 or 7 years for Wrexham to make the Premier League regardless of winning. And he said, do you think Spurs are winning in the next 6 years? And I just left the call. Because he was right.
I mean, they are at 42 matches. Notts County, they have a game in hand over Notts County and are leading by 3 points. But both of them are basically the same goal difference, 68 to 69. Like, damn, man, 100 goals scored. It's incredible. Hopefully both of them can go because they deserve it. But moving on from them and to a little man a little man from Rosario, Argentina, the magic man, Messi, all-time European top scorer, 702 goals, surpassing a certain Cristiano Ronaldo in 105 less games. GOAT numbers, GOAT, greatest of all-time numbers, Jackson. Then back to Barca he goes. These are the interesting questions that life has to offer. What do you make of this?
Well, you know my stance on Messi, that when it comes to Barca, he should go back. We know that. I don't care if he's on one leg, he should go back to Barca. I've basically deleted these last 2 years because it doesn't seem right. GOAT numbers, well, you know, I'm not going to change my stance on the GOAT being Edson Nascimento dos Santos. I'm never going to change it from it being the king of football himself, Pele. I just can't pull myself to it because, well, Pele played in a time where substitutions weren't created. The bench was non-existent, so if you got injured, you play through it or you come off, and 9 times out of 10 you got to play through it. So just, I can't compare the eras. That's the main problem. It's really hard because I don't think players now could survive in that era. I really don't. That's just it, man.
I mean, the argument I always use for that is to say that, look, players have to make do with what they have. At the time, that was the best they could do. So I think while we can't necessarily compare what we had in the 1800s with the kings and queens of England, right? Their lives were immaculate back then, right? They were at the pure top echelons of society, right?
Yeah.
But if you compare to nowadays, most of us have a better standard of living than even the kings and queens back then. So there still is some basis for comparison to state that the game has evolved, and the fact that it has evolved has allowed for us to be able to have some room. And I know that you're almost running out of time, so I want you to just quickly answer. But I think it's a fair comparison.
Yeah, I mean, based on money, let's not use the COVID injection or inflation to get into this. Let's use before, like the good times of 2018 and 2019. You could, have a good standard of living. It wasn't all that bad, minimum wage could actually pay the bills. Nothing was skyrocketing. Now everything has changed. I mean, have you ever realized in Jamaica that a beef patty and your bus fare is an hour's pay? Have you ever realized that?
Yep, it is.
Yeah, that's how bad it is nowadays.
What? Yeah. Moving on from that, and to the final topic of today before we wrap up. Karim Adeyemi, one for the future. Rumor has it, about £70 million on his head. Jackson, deal or no deal? Why or why not?
The dream. Karim the dream. Well, a certain Austrian football director went to Man United and said, how about you buy Adeyemi in January from Salzburg? And so a certain board said, no, we're saving it for the manager. No, well, his price has kind of multiplied a lot, as you said, 70 mil. Is that a steal for Adeyemi? He is a good player. I really like the player, his profile, everything. I think he suits United as developmental and one for right now. I think he would suit Chelsea. Hell, if Chelsea wanted to spend 70, I wouldn't go against it. I would actually fear Chelsea at that point. But, maybe some negotiating, bring that down to about 50, 60. But, 70 is not bad based on his age and his profile right now.
Alright, fair enough. But guys, with that being said, we'd like to wrap up the GC Sports Transfer Roundup. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for just being here and hearing, listen to what we have to say. We really appreciate it. You can follow us at GG_sports. Jackson, is there anything you want to say?
Oh, well, it's Champions League week, so, we're going to have more to speak about. NBA playoffs are going to start. Gobert and Slow-Mo having a fight, on even though they're on the same team. A lot of things. NFL looking up. We're soon back in that season. It's not taking that long, actually. But, yeah, Champions League, Europa League. We're going to have much more. We're going to see if we can get some information on Rashford scans as well. And CARIFTA still going on while we're speaking anyway, so yeah. As he said, GZ_sports22 on Twitter. you guys just look out for the news, look out for all of it, and we'll see you next week.